Januluddin Abdul Kalam. He was born on 15th of October 1931 and died on 27th July 2015. An Indian aerospace scientist and politician who served as the 11th President of India from 2002 to 2007. He was born and raised in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, and studied physics and aerospace engineering. He was also called the Missile Man of India. You can see where Rameshwaram is. I've given you the map also. It is in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu, the capital of Tamil Nadu is Chennai. Then it was called Madras, and now it is called Tamil Nadu. So now Rameshwaram is just off the mainland of the mainland of India, and it is Tamil Nadu. It comes under the state of Tamil Nadu. APJ Abdul Kalam's father's name was Jainulabdin. APJ says that his father was not very rich. He did not have wealth. He was not highly educated, but despite these disadvantages, he had some other qualities. He was naturally wise and was generous too. So I got the picture of his father there, Jainulabdin. His name was Jainulabdin. So he was not a very rich man. He was not highly educated, but he had great wisdom. He was naturally wise, very, very wise. And of course, he was very generous. APJ's mother's name was Ashiyamma. She used to help his father. She was a great support and help to him. APJ's mother was also generous and kind-hearted. Every day she used to feed a lot of people. So it seems that the mother was doing her motherly duties, and she was a great support to her husband too. APJ's father was a very simple but a strict man. He wanted to live his life in a simple way, and he used to teach his children not to waste money on unnecessary things. APJ says that his father used to avoid any kind of inessential comfort and luxuries. So he led a very simple life because his father was simple and a strict man. And so he taught his children not to waste money. So they got the essentials of life. So whatever inessential comfort and luxury was there, they did not have it. He provided them all the necessary things like food, clothes, and medicines. APJ says that his parents fulfilled all his needs, whether it was any tangible thing. Tangible means something that is real, that you can touch, or their love and affection. So they gave them, their children, everything, from the necessities even to the love and affection. This shows that he has the quality of gratitude. So he's full of gratitude. That is what the writer wants to say. APJ is thankful to his parents for whatever they did for him. During World War II, tamarind seeds were ground down and roasted to make tamarind kernel powder, which was used as a sizing agent for textiles like jute and cotton. Because of this, there was a demand for tamarind seeds in the market. So sizing means to bind the fiber together and stiffen the yarn. So when you stiffen the yarn, it is easy to weave the cloth. So it is a stiffening agent. So tamarind kernel powder was used for that. So they would stiffen the cotton, jute and cotton with it, and that is why tamarind seeds became very much in demand. So APJ got that, went and he would collect tamarind seeds and he sold them. As APJ was from a Muslim family, he says that during his childhood, all the children were so close to each other that they never felt they belonged to different religions. Religion was not a barrier in their friendship. So he had very good friends who were of different religion. There is a very famous temple in Rameshwaram, the Rameshwaram temple. Everybody knows about the Rameshwaram temple. APJ's best friend, Ramananda Shastri, was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri. the priest of the temple. So his best friend was although he was a Muslim, his best friend was the son of the priest of the temple of Rameshwaram temple. When uh, when these three friends grew up, Ramananda Shastri took the priesthood of Rameshwaram temple. Arvindan started a business of transporting the pilgrims to and fro from the Rameshwaram temple, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railway. He was in charge of the catering for the railways. So these were the three friends who were very close. APJ, his friend Ramananda Shastri, and then Arvindan. They were the three friends who were very close to each other. Whenever the Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony used to take place, APJ's family also took part in it. See, although they were Muslims, yet they took part in that. They used to arrange the boats for it. So they used to arrange the boats for the people to go to the Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony. They used to make a special platform for the boats on which the statue of Ram and Sita were placed and transported from the temple to the marriage site, which was in the middle of the pond named Ramatirtha. This pond was near APJ's house. So they arranged for boats, and they even erected a platform in the middle of the pond, and the name of the pond was Ramatirtha, and so this was near APJ's house. So his family were responsible in taking people to and from the temple, and they elected a special platform on the boats on which the statues of Ram and Sita would be placed. So they lived. This was their daily living, and this is how they uh, lived in their little area. APJ says that they listened to stories from the Ramayana and the life of the Prophet from their mother and grandmother as bedtime stories. So they listened to stories of both Hindu gods and Muslim gods. There was no differentiation on grounds of religion. As APJ Abdul Kalam belonged to a Muslim family, he used to wear a cap on his head. So now they had no sense of discrimination. They did not differentiate from each other. They did not feel it at all. So, because he was a Muslim, he used to wear a cap on his head, like all Muslims do, and which identified him as a Muslim. His friend Ramananda Shastri was the son of the priest of the Rameshwaram temple, belonged to a Hindu Brahmin family, and used to wear the sacred thread worn by the Brahmins. So the Brahmins wear that sacred thread, so his friend would wear that. When these children were in class 5, a new teacher came to their class. APJ Abdul Kalam recalls an incident which happened when his new teacher could not tolerate that a Hindu priest's son was sitting next to a Muslim boy. So it seems he was a very narrow-minded person, and a teacher too. And he came to the class and he could not stomach this, as APJ has written in his book. The teacher could not stomach the fact that the son of the priest of the Rameshwaram temple, his son was sitting with a Muslim boy. He told APJ to go and sit on the last bench, as he belonged to a lower rank of the society. So because he was from the lower rank of the society, he was told to go. The teacher told him to go and sit right at the back. Both the children felt very bad. Now he felt very bad, just like his friend did. So he felt very, very bad. So when APJ changed his seat and went back and sat on the last bench, Ramananda felt very bad. APJ still remembers the image of his friend Ramananda crying. So they were only in class 5, and his friend Ramananda was crying because his teacher told him to go away. It left a lifelong impression on Kalam of his friend's feelings for him. So Kalam says he will never forget that expression on his friend's face, because his friend was crying because he was told to go and sit elsewhere from him, and go and sit at the back of the class. Both children went home and told their parents about this incident, And Ramanada's father, Lakshmana Shastri, called the new teacher and scolded him. So now you know that Ramanada's father, Lakshmana Shastri, he, of course, they were high, uh, high caste priests and high caste Hindus. They could not. The Shastri, he really scolded the teacher very badly. He told him not to kill the children's friendship by putting the venomous discrimination of caste and religious into their minds. So this your caste and religion, he's told the teacher, you are putting this venom. The venom means the poisonous. It is the poison that you're poisoning their minds. It is the poison in the society that you are uh, putting in the minds of the children. They are innocent children, and you should not put this poison in their minds. So this is how Lakshmana Shastri was, how broad-minded he was, and what a wise man he was. When he told the teacher. So Lakshmana Shastri was very clear in his belief. He told the teacher to apologize or else leave the school and Rameshwaram town also. He could not tolerate this indiscrimination, or the discrimination uh, mm, of the caste and culture and religion. He could not tolerate this, and he said, I will not tolerate this in the school, neither in the school nor in this town of Rameshwaram. The teacher apologized for the mistake, and due to Lakshmana Shastri's discrimination, his thoughts about religion so due to Lakshmana Shastri's determination, his thoughts about religion and caste changed. So the teacher also realized his mistake and he apologized, and his thoughts also changed for the better. The division of society into four groups, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, was strictly followed in Rameshwaram. Abdul Kalam's science teacher, Siva Subramania Iyer, was a religious person, an orthodox Brahmin, but was a rebellious type of a person. He did not believe in distinction on the basis of caste system. Now, because of this caste system, it was followed in those days, even in Rameshwaram. But there was this science teacher, although he was an orthodox. Orthodox means a very Pakka Brahmin. So he was a very strict Brahmin who held on to all his rituals. Yet he was a rebellious kind of a person. He did not believe in the distinction on the basis of caste system. He encouraged APJ Abdul Kalam to work hard so that he could be at the same level as the highly educated people who lived in big cities. So he was the one who encouraged him, his science teacher, and he told him to work so hard that he will be on the same level as the highly educated people who lived in the big cities. Siva Subramania Iyer's wife belonged to a traditional and orthodox Brahmin family. Now, she also belonged to a very strict Brahmin family. She followed the religion very strictly to keep the kitchen pure. No one from an inferior religion was allowed to enter the kitchen. Now, nobody would enter a kitchen. She wanted to keep her kitchen very pure. When Siva Subramania Iyer called APJ Abdul Kalam for dinner at his home, his wife feared that a boy from a Muslim family would make her kitchen impure. Now, that was a very strange thing that he did. He called a Muslim boy to eat in his house, and that to an inferior religion, she thought, and she thought that he was going to make her kitchen impure. She refused to serve him food in her kitchen. So she refused because APJ was a Muslim and from a lower caste. She refused to serve him food in her kitchen. Siva Subramania Iyer was neither upset nor angry. So he was not upset. He was not at all angry. What did he do? He himself served food to APJ and sat down beside him to eat. His wife stood beside the kitchen door and looked at APJ while he was having food. Now her husband was eating with APJ, a Muslim and an inferior, she thought, and she thought that he was making her kitchen impure. But she stood there and she watched APJ having food with her husband. APJ says that he doesn't think that she felt there was any difference in the way he was having his food, or the way he was drinking water, or in the way he cleaned the floor after the meal. Now he was eating just like every other person, like normal people ate. He was eating just like his teacher, his science teacher. And so she was standing and watching him very intimately. She, he wants to highlight that religion does not matter, as it does not alter the way in which a person eats food. Now here APJ wants to highlight the fact that religion does not matter how we eat or we have our food. He added that if he had decided to change the system to go against the norms of the society, he had to be strong and brave and confront the situation. Now, see, his teacher told him that if you want to go against the norms of the society, what do you have to do? You have to be strong and brave, and you have to confront the situation. You should know what you are looking at, and you have to confront it. You have to be brave and be very determined in standing against all these norms if you are fighting for the good of the society. So she realized that she was that APJ was just like any other human being. He did not have any different way of eating or a different way of drinking water. He also cleaned the floor after eating his meal. APJ asked his father to allow him to go to Ramanathapuram, which was the district headquarters for higher studies. Now, in that district, that was a place, Ramanathapuram was a place where everyone could go for higher studies. Now, in reply, his father told him that he knew that APJ needed to go away, so he could move ahead in life. He gave the example of a seagull which flies away in the sky all alone and does not have a nest. Now, when APJ requested his father to allow him to go for higher studies, what did his father say? His father gave him an example of the seagull. The seagull is the, you know that the seagull is the water bird. It is in the sea, and it flies over the sea and then also come back to sits on the rocks next to the sea. And so he says the seagull flies alone. It does not have a nest. It means it does not have a home of its own as it keeps on flying from one place to another. When APJ's mother came to know that he was about to leave home and wanted to go to Ramanathapuram for higher studies, she got upset. Now she was very upset. His mother, APJ's father, tried to calm her down and told her a few lines from the famous poem titled Your Children, written by Khalil Gibran. Now you know, have you heard of Khalil Gibran? Well, Khalil Gibran is a very notable writer. So, he, see, you have, as already we learned, that APJ's father was not highly educated, yet he knew about Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran was born in 1888, and he died in about 19 uh, early 40s, and that's how early he was in history. Yet his father knew about Khalil Gibran's poems, and he quoted his poem, Khalil Gibran's poem, and he said that your children are not your children, they are the children of life. Don't think that you can rule your children. Khalil Gibran says in his poem that your children are not your children, they are the children of life. They need to live, they need to go about, they need to rise up in their life. Don't think that you can rule your children. They are the result of life's desire for itself. Life desires children. See, it is a cycle of life. Everyone is born and lives. It is the need of life to have children. So they have their own thoughts. He asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. So that's how wise his father was, and they gave him his parents, and especially his father, gave him wings. Maybe that's why APJ Abdul Kalam has named his book Wings of Fire. Well, children, if you get that book, I would advise you to read Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. If you have any questions, you can put them up in the comment box. I'm giving you some exercises. I request you to do those exercises also in your books. Thank you.